Welcome, 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 everybody to the very first edition of the Unapologetic podcast. Um, this is a different type of podcast for me. You know, Usually I'm more of an upbeat type guy, so my show's a little bit more, happy, kind of go lucky type vibe. But this is nothing like that. This is completely different. Man, I thought about this podcast for a while, doing something like this. But really, I want to do something like this to kind of get away from uh one certain thing, and kind of get involved in a whole lot of different topics, which would in turn invite in more people. I feel like I love sports, and most people do love sports, but I think this is an opportunity to let people in on a lot of different things because we're gonna do a lot of different topics and talk about pop culture and politics, relationships, kids, things of that nature. We're gonna get into all of those type of things on these shows throughout, the episodes and when I want to do these things, when I want to do these shows. But today, we got some hot button topics. We got some issues that we really need to address. Things that are heavy on my mind that we need to discuss and talk about at length. And I know most of you know what I am referring to when I say that. We've you know I did a show. It's been about 3-4 years ago, and we kind of talked about race in this country. We kind of had a discussion that night because it was right about the time Colin Kaepernick decided to start protesting during the national anthem, and that was a big uproar. And we came on, had a great show. It was like 2 hours long. We talked a lot, and that's what I want. I want conversations. That night, I kind of asked for solutions, there's no one solution. But that's what I'm here for tonight. Is like it's conversation and solutions. I'm a solutions oriented person. That's what I want to do about this show. Amongst the show. But now, don't get it twisted. The name of the show is the Unapologetic Podcast. So if you are easily offended, if your feelings get hurt easily, then this is not the podcast for you. Because this is about my truths and also your truths. I don't want no one to hold back anything on this podcast. I don't want no punches being held back. No pull punches. I don't want any of that. I've been at work the last couple of days, and I've been trying to quell my anger as much as I could. Because I am really angry. And I have good reason to be angry. But I've been really trying to quell my anger and hold some of the things I'm about to say tonight in, because I've seen some things, I've read some things. Um, look, man, I could go so many places with this. I don't even know where I want to even take this conversation. Where do I want to even go with this conversation? Because it's so much to digest. But let's get to it, and I'll talk and do what I do best, and then I'll open up the phone lines because I do want to hear from you guys. But one thing we're gonna do. One thing we're gonna do on here though. Is there one thing we're gonna do? I don't care if you're black, white, green, purple, blue, old, young, white. I mean, male or female. We're gonna respect each other on here. We're gonna respect each other's opinion. Now, we may vehemently disagree because I know I'm gonna disagree with a lot of people. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with what I gotta say. But what we're gonna do is be respectful on here of each other's opinions. We're gonna be respectful. But I want everybody to look into themselves and just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, man. We gotta stop hiding and running from this thing, and this elephant that's been in this room for so long. We cannot escape this elephant in this room. Much as we want to say it doesn't exist, much as we try to avoid it, much as we try to not talk about it, it exists. It exists. And it was on full display again yesterday in Minnesota. You saw the footage. You watched the video. You saw what I saw. You saw what I you saw it, right? You witnessed that, right? You watched a man get murdered on live TV. You watched a man get murdered on live TV yesterday. And not one of the people, not one of the people who was in who were sworn to protect and serve, not one of them, not a one, moved. Not a one said a word. Not a one. You got a guy with his knee on a guy's neck, pressed down on a guy's neck, with his hand in his pocket. With his hands in his pocket. So clearly, they didn't think the suspect was a threat at this point. But my question to everyone watching, everyone around the world, is when is enough enough? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired as we are, as a human race? Or are you as tired as I am? When are you gonna be tired? No, I have a cousin who, and it's kind of all, like I say, I'm gonna kind of be going all in and out because it's so much to digest. He was speaking about, do we have, because I spoke about leaders today, and clearly I was speaking for said leaders today on my post. A lot of you read my post. I was speaking from that perspective, obviously, of a white leader. Now, and throughout the post, I was clearly stating Americans, we Americans, United States of America, we. But at the end, I did say, because I was speaking as a white leader, I said, we as white people, because I would love to hear leaders say that, because that needs to be heard, that needs to be said. So that is important, because, and then let's tie it all together, because that's what I was talking about, leaders. My cousin spoke about, do we have the black leaders? We've had great black leaders. We continue to have great black leaders, but this ain't about our black leaders. This ain't about us. Martin Luther King marched and preached and gave some of the most outstanding speeches ever. Now, where has that gotten us? There are African Americans who continue. Michael Eric Dyson's of the world continue to speak eloquently, continue to talk about the struggle. But again, this is not about black leaders. When are white leaders and people of prominent positions going to start saying this? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You're watching us being killed daily. Our lives have no value. When is enough enough? I need prominent white leaders, prominent white voices to speak up. We can have great leaders. We can march. We can protest. But African Americans make up 12.6% of the United States population. Non-Hispanics, blacks make up about 70% of the U.S. population. 72% identify as white. The raw numbers are about 69.4%. And again, I posted another quote that by Benjamin. Justice would not be served until those who are unaffected or is equally outraged at the people who it actually is affecting. To that, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's so true. That is true in every sense of the word. When the people who is not happening to it as equally as outraged as we are, nothing will ever change. I was really depressed when I got on Facebook today when I posted that thing. And I gotta admit, I was angry. I was depressed when I first got on there. And I made that post. But it's some few people out there that gave me some hope. I saw some great things today from some people that are not black, obviously. They said some things that's very uncomfortable for their cohorts to hear. It's very uncomfortable for them. But they said it anyway. Things that need to be said. Very uncomfortable things that I saw some of my Caucasian friends post today. And it was I almost cried. I almost cried looking at some of those things because it doesn't matter how much I scream. It doesn't matter how much I talk, how much I protest, how much I say something hurts me. It doesn't matter. That isn't going to change until we get those prominent people in those positions to shout this down, condemn this, confront this. Don't just be silent. Don't just be silent, because if you're silent, you're complicit in it. So I mean, this young man, dead and gone. I don't know the stand. I'm hearing that a bad check. Now I'm hearing that the check wasn't even bad. Regardless, man left home and he's never coming back home. Never coming back home. Someone's brother, someone's uncle, someone's husband, someone's son, someone's father. Never coming home again. And that hurts me. Because I value and I love life so much, and it just pains me that certain people don't value ours at all. They have zero value for it. To watch a man, and hold on, let me back up. Because I know people are saying, well, why didn't anyone interject or intervene? Well, black people, we all know why that wasn't the case. Because instead of one guy dying yesterday, there would have been multiple guys died yesterday. Because and it would have been justified. It would have been justified. They would have made that a justifiable homicide. We, we saw a few weeks ago Ahmaud Arbery get murdered, which it happened months ago. We saw him get murdered on camera, and it leads to this this thing, this quote Will Smith had, that racism isn't getting worse, it's just getting filmed. And it's so true. And it's so true. And I bring this up all the time. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. 1964. That's been 56 years ago. 1964, the Civil Rights Act. 56 years ago. Now, where have we gone? Where have we gotten? Have we made progress? Have we taken some strides? Yes. I'll openly admit that we have made some strides. But have we made a leap? Absolutely not. Have we taken 5 steps forward? I don't think so. I'm extremely disappointed because I thought that we would be. I thought that we would have made strides. I thought that we would be further along, but we are not. You watch Ahmaud Arbery get basically hunted down and targeted, get murdered, and then you watch as the media, as they so often do, like clockwork, try and make this guy seem to be a bad human being. Try to make this guy out to be some kind of boogeyman. So in doing so, trying to basically justify what happened to him. It's just like work. Over and over and around we go and go. But nobody wants to deal with that. So let's kind of go back a little bit. Because I did mention Colin Kaepernick. And I know some of you people don't want to hear about Colin Kaepernick. But you can't like think about this and not think about Colin Kaepernick. Because of you remember, because of some of you have chosen not to remember. But I'm going to refresh your memory. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to refresh your memory. Because I was told, that, Colin Kaepernick's protest was about everything from the military, the veterans, to the flag, all of that good stuff. But I'm gonna try and play for you what Colin Kaepernick initially said, and this is August 29, 2016. This is right after the first time he kneeled, and this is what he said. If you can't hear it, let me know you can't hear it. If you can't hear it, I'll stop it. But I want you to hear this. 2 minutes of this. This is good. Listen. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. You may not can't hear it. But Colin came out and basically said I was protesting um specifically police brutality. So what he said at the time, he said what he said, this kind of thing was going on, so it kind of led him to want to start doing this. And he spoke of these things. He spoke of police brutality. He spoke of unjust murderings, people not being held accountable, clearly not being held accountable. People were murdering people, going on paid leave, not being charged, and then going back to work like if nothing had happened. And see, when you start setting that precedence, that's when people start really, really aggressively policing people of color. Because if there's no consequence, then what's going to stop the next cop? And then they're not policing each other. They refuse. Even the black cops refuse. They continue to tell me there are a lot of good cops. They continue to tell me this. But they refuse to call out the bad ones. They refuse to do that. And I don't know what that's about. I truly don't know what that's about. Over and over, around and around again, we go. We had people upset today on Facebook. And like I said, I thought it. I mean, it's truth telling time right now. It is time to be. It is time for the truth. It's time for the truth. Things got. Aren't you tired? I mean, I'm so tired and so exhausted of watching and sick of watching these things happen. Like I'm just sick of watching these things happen. So where do we go? Where's the answers? Where are the solutions? So with that, let's open up the phone line. 864-378-0163. 864-378-0163. Share your thoughts, opinions, solutions. Where do we go from here? I don't think the answers are with our black leaders, but they'll continue to fight. They'll continue to march. They'll continue to protest. But we've been doing it. We've protested for 400 years. We've marched and did all these things to get our vote, get the right to vote, to end slavery. We've fought and protested all these things, but where do we go from here? Where do we go now? Where are the solutions at? But I'll tell you this, because we have a problem. You know, they always tell you the first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one first and foremost. And America has never openly, publicly apologized for the initial mistake in this country. They have never openly apologized for what happened. Never. So see, they won't even admit it. They won't even acknowledge that it happened. They won't even acknowledge it happened. People won't come out and acknowledge those things. Acknowledge that there's racism and it's pretty prevalent. Oh, we got a phone call already. What we doing? Caller, you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Leslie. I'm calling from Georgia, Stockbridge.
What up, Stockbridge? What's up, Leslie? How we doing?
So I'm good, but listen, I'm originally from New York, so let me tell you what I think, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it's very nice for people to say to pray. I think it's very nice for people to say to march. I think it's nice for people to say to have other people stand with us. I truly believe nothing is going to get solved until every single time we're victims, they're victims. That's a fact.
Hey,
it's not going to work. You're not going to take my son or my husband or my brother or my uncle and tell me to stay calm. And for the families that keep going through this, they get on TV, they tell people stay calm, they tell them don't do anything. They tell them the same way these gangs get out here and they have such passion for their own flags, they need to band together and something needs to be done because the police are a gang. Don't mistake it. They are. They ride for each other. Just like you said earlier with the good cops, I've been hearing about good cops too. I haven't met any. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
None.
I hear
And the
you.
ones who are supposed to be good, they don't say anything. They do stand by. How many of these videos have you seen where there have been cops around and you could tell by the looks on their faces that they know their comrade is wrong, but they're not going to step in because they have consequences also, and that's understandable. But why should we keep losing people?
Oh, I mean, I agree with you, and I think, like I say, I'm not gonna knock anyone's solution. I don't think that's kind of drastic. I know what you're saying. Fight fire with fire. I don't know if that is the way, but at this point, people are feeling that way, and I cannot blame you for feeling that way because you're right. You're getting tired. You have black sons. You have a husband, and you're watching black kids and black fathers getting murdered on TV and social media daily. So it's got to be frustrating because nothing's being done. So like, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not agreeing with
No, I dig it.
with
I don't
Marshall.
expect everybody to, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
what options are left that you see? Like, if we're being very, I mean, I've already said I think that we should definitely take the black dollar. That's definitely a positive step as far as putting your money into black businesses or us inventing our own black businesses so that they don't get our dollar. You can affect them by keeping your money, definitely, because money talks. But
Absolutely.
what other options do you see as far as the physicality of it?
I mean, that is a very difficult question that you pose, and that's what we're
Yeah.
here. That's what we're here for. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You
Um,
too.
I mean, she, I'm laughing and jest because she's, and if that is the mindset of some black people, and it's gonna get that way, I think throughout time because like she's saying, and I said, I think I said it the last couple years when we was having there was some more slayings of some black unarmed black men. Maybe a couple years ago in Minnesota, I think it was one in like Louisiana, and I was saying that I'm sick and tired of prayers. I'm sick and tired of people saying let's pray about it. Let's pray for them and let they change. I'm sick of hearing that too. Now I'm not saying let's go out and fight fire with fire like she's saying because I know that's what she's saying. But I can understand her anger. This woman has another phone call. Hey, hold that thought. Hello, caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, hello. What's going on, bro?
What is up? Is this Buck Thomas?
This is Buck Thomas. Buck Thomas, you know where I'm at.
What's on your mind, young brother?
Well, I've been listening to you for song. Great job. And I know we had a discussion earlier about this, but like I say, from day one, we have had these enemies. Like I keep telling you, and we have fought, continue to fight. I often say that the system, like I tell you, the system is real. I already know that the system. I'm gonna go back. Been saying this forever and ever. Concentrate so much on the president. United States. That's when we're out and vote. Same people who screaming and hollering now. We had 800 something thousand registered voters that did not vote. A lot of people think, well, voting is not getting it. We get to our local government, local police officer, the local, the local DA. Racism, not a disease. Racism, oh, we're gonna get rid of racism? No. What we're feeling, racism is gonna be here. What we're fighting for justice. We're getting this injustice. We're getting injustice for years and years, and the police have been the head of injustice by us not voting, by us not being active. We have allowed the police to be militarized. And what I mean by militarized, the police guy was watch, young man, know it was wrong. Hit the streets. Are you seeing what's happening now?
Oh
They
yeah, I
got
seen it. I
they
seen
got
it.
thousands and thousands of, I would say thousands a little bit harsh, but they got police right out there now. They're militarized and they're doing it. We have to march, have to continue to march. We got to still, gonna happen. We got to get out there and march. We got to march there in. We gotta constantly, and also, our what we can do, what I earn, and what you earn, and what way that we're living, way that we have to get it is by voting. We have to get people start hurting people's pockets. We can hurt people's pockets, but we gotta live and survive too. We are making millionaires after millionaires in our community, so they affect other people's pockets, like a discussion with NFL players. See what's going on. If they're not hiring enough black coaches, then we're not going to play. Watch how that changes.
I agree with
Just
that
like the
100.
football players,
I agree with that
like
100%.
the Missouri football players said, we're not going to play. If we not get rid of this president because he's not doing anything about racism. When they threaten not to play, well, we're going to lose $5 million each. They're not playing. They fired the president. So what we have to do, continue to put pressure after pressure after pressure, because look back, see, we're hanging from way back, 1919, 137 sharecroppers, Arkansas. Just name it over and over and over again. This is nothing new, but we got to stay at it, got to be consistent with it, and we're gonna take losses. We got to realize we're gonna take losses. Then we got to gather ourselves, got to fight hardly, not dumb. We've been hollering about black on black crime. You know where they get that coin from? From us. When we say it, we understand it within our community. But when we say black on black crime, you know what it does to their community? It empowers them. Some of the phrases that we coin, stop coining it. White people kill white people. Black people kill black people. Mexicans kill Mexicans. You know why? Because that's who they are surrounded by.
Kill where you live.
Kill where you live. And because we always coin that, black people stop killing black people. Black people, black people, white people, white people. Got to stop coining that because they use our words. They use what we do, what we don't do right. Not what we do, what we don't do right. Here always been. We're
Man.
marching. The way that we're marching now, I like it. The way we marched back then, those guys had on suits, shoes. They was consistent and they was respectful and they marched because they had one main goal. Don't let them, don't give them a reason to say that you're a bad apple. Nigga that say that you're a bad apple, look your best. They are bad. I'm gonna get off. I don't want to take over the show. That's what we gotta do.
Great call. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, cuz. Have a good night.
All right.
Buck Thomas taking the other approach, the positive approach. Let's continue to march. Let's continue to come together, and let's try and attack it another way. By attacking the bottom dollar. The bottom dollar does move, make people move. It does do a lot of damage, and he's 100% right. Voting does help, and I think more so, like he says, local level. Voting is key at the local level, not at the national level. At the local level, because you can control who's your sheriffs, who's your district attorneys, who's your what's the other one I'm looking for, the judge or whatever. You can control those. You can control that. But see, we don't pay enough attention to that. We don't, because we think the system is so screwed up that we don't pay attention to these things. But that's where it starts, at the local level. Get in those town hall meetings. Go to those boring things you think they are so boring, but you need to go to those things, because I agree with him that voting is important. I get it with 12.6% of the population, but like he mentioned, 800,000 registered voters did not vote in the election. That's a huge number in an election that was super uber close. So I mean, so the effect change, like he says, continue to march, continue to represent ourselves in a great fashion, and I can respect some of that too. But I still, for me, it's about those prominent white men and women. It comes down to that. If we want to have a world where we can intertwine and be as one, then it's got to be both. It can't be one or the other. It has to be both working toward the same exact goals. That's how it had to be. Leslie called earlier. She wants to just be done with it. Let's just be done with it. Stay in our communities. You stay in your communities. I'm not with that. I'm not for that. I'm not. But that's where we are right now. Right now, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. This is the Unapologetic Podcast. I'm Wesley Centel. First edition of the show. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on race. Obviously, what happened yesterday in Minnesota. We'll go a little bit further, deeper in some of the issues. Hopefully, some more phone calls. Don't go anywhere. Be right back after this short break. Yo, I am back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Unapologetic Podcast. Had a great first segment of the program, man. We just covered a lot of things. Like I said, this program is about everything, man. You want, tonight is kind of obviously we talking about some real life shit right now. So yeah, we're gonna probably stay on this till the show goes off, and then like the next time we can start getting into some more lighter stuff, but it's still gonna be serious because this is what this is about. Um, and I kind of want to focus on um police officers, and I've been steadfast in saying this for a long time. This is a tough job. It's an inherently dangerous job. But I've always had an issue, and if you're a cop in law enforcement, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I may not have all the facts, I may be off base. But I have issues, and it stems from the fact that look, think about this. Okay, police officers are paid this extremely low amounts of money. They are severely, much like teachers, they are severely underpaid. So what does that do? Well, that shrinks your pool. So you're not getting the best of the best. You're just getting guys who barely passed, got out of high school. That's what you're normally going to get, because you're not getting the best of the best. This is a job because they're getting paid. This is not a career. It's a career that's paid like a job. Most of these guys right now that are officers, they're not doing it for the reason we would think that you would choose to be an officer, which is to protect and serve, which is to do the right thing. There are a lot of them just in it to get a check. Like most of us who do our job are in it just to get a check. But here's the problem. This job here requires you to be perfect. And I know people, there's no such thing as a perfect person. There is not. But this job requires you to be perfect. Because if you cannot have a bad day as a police officer. You can't have a bad day. A bad day for you could cause someone not to go home, whether it's a civilian or your partner. So you can't have a bad day. So here we are. It's inherently dangerous. The pay is lousy. And let's talk about the training. 6 months. Most officers are trained for 6 months. To me, that has never been enough. That has never been long enough. That has never been adequate enough for me. 6 months. 6 months. Just think about that now. Someone's being trained for 6 months, given a gun, and is told to go out and do that job. Now I just told you the pay is lousy, so you're not getting the top of the line guy. You're getting just an average Joe for the most part. You're not really getting a gun ho guy. You're not really getting a guy who really wants to do this job. They're doing it for the paycheck. So how do we fix that? For me, I've always thought that anyone who decides to be in law enforcement should have a military background. I think if you're going to be a police officer, that you should have served in the military for at least 2 years. I think that you have to serve I think that you should serve in the military for a couple of years. That's number one. Number two, I think the training should be way more than 6 months. Whatever that is. I don't think it should be more than 6 months. I don't know. I would also like to see psych evaluations. I don't know if they do those or not. So somebody have to help me out with that. Do they do psych evaluations? Pre and post training. Because look what I just said. It's not a lot of pay. I don't think you're adequately trained enough. Let's say you're taking a white officer who's grew up, spent most of his time mainly around white people. Then all of a sudden, you're putting him in a patrol car, and now he's policing in neighborhoods and people that he's never been around before. That's a recipe for disaster. So I think that part of it is an issue for me. I think the training is inadequate. The pay is inadequate. But as long as the pay inadequate, you're never gonna have the best of the best. You're never gonna have that. That's with any job. With any job. Much like teachers, like I mentioned earlier, severely underpaid. Cops are severely underpaid. Cops are severely underpaid. They have a tough job. It is inherently dangerous. I never want to discredit how hard it is to be a police officer because the inherent danger. There's a chance every day that you won't make it home. There's a chance. Every day. There's a chance. But it's over policing. But again, that goes back to a guy who's in a job, who's there just because he's trying to get a check. The pay suggests that I'm just here to collect my check and go home. I could care less about anything else. Then you're putting guys in neighborhoods who have never been in those neighborhoods, policing people who they don't have much in common with, who they don't know much about. So these interactions are like this. So I would like to see those things happen. I don't know if they're ever gonna happen. So that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So, um, so that's one part of it. But again, phone line is open. You want to get in 864-378-5063, 378-0163 right here on the Unapologetic podcast. I'm Wesley Santel. This is the first edition, and we talked about George Floyd. Obviously, what a terrible, tragic, horrible uh, thing that happened yesterday. If you've seen the video, I'm sure you have. If you can even get through the video, I haven't watched it with the sound up. I've watched it, but I can't watch it with the sound up. I can't bring myself to watch it with the sound up because I know it's just evil. I uh so we were asking. People have been asking. I know we have been asking, and Donald Trump has finally responded to this incident by a tweet, of course, saying that the Attorney General and the FBI have already begun an investigation into this. When I'm sure the investigation had already started. They did fire the 4 police officers, but that's not enough. That's not enough. Someone has to be held accountable. Someone has to be held accountable for what happened yesterday, and it can't just be a firing. Can't be a firing. DK Thompson watching, his former cop. Do y'all do psych evaluations, DK? Do y'all guys do psych evaluations? Y'all have some kind of therapy sessions, mental evaluation? Do y'all have anything like that? Or is pre-academy, post-academy? I'll be curious, interested in knowing about that. Personally, I would be. We're gonna spend a few more minutes. Okay, it's so much to unpack because we had the George Floyd thing, but prior to that, we had the situation up in New York City. This lady named Amy Cooper. What she did was about that racial profiling. That is, and what she said. That's horrible, man. That is pretty bad, pretty low, and basically, she just got upset because a guy told her to leash her dog, which is a requirement by the park to leash your dog. She didn't take too kindly to him saying that. This guy happened to be an African American. She calls the law. And then she has the nerve to do that one thing that we all know, that if as a white woman, that we all know that if you say these words, the cops are coming immediately. We know that if you say these words, that the cops are coming immediately. He said an African American man was threatening her. Come now. That could have ended so badly. That is frowned upon that could have ended so badly. That could have been another situation. That could have been another George Floyd situation so easily, because our interactions with the police are not like your interactions with the police. They're not. And that's when you had a friend of mine today, and she said some powerful things today about white privilege, and I just I don't know why a segment of the population continues to take words, twist them, try to act as if they are completely oblivious, ignorant to what things mean. They take these things and try to take them and make them into something else that they're not. we know what white privilege exists. We know what it is. It's not about your wealth or your class standing or where you grew up at or how you grew up. It is not about that. It has nothing to do with monetary things. It has nothing to do with that. It has zero to do with that. It has zero to do with that. And each one of those people keeps trying to explain to people who refuse to acknowledge these things over and over and over again. Our interactions with police are not the same as your interactions with police. I've been racially profiled. I've been stopped, asked, why are you in this neighborhood? And when you drive something real nice, they ask you, where you work at? What do you work at? How do you afford this? What? What? Those things happened, has happened, and they continue to happen. You don't have the same issues I have. You don't. And you don't never have to worry about these things. Every black person, and I'm dry, and most people know me. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm clean as clean can get. I got my insurance is straight. I ain't got no speeding tickets. Yada yada, on and on and on. But when I see blue lights, my heart beats 100 miles a minute. And I haven't done a damn thing wrong. I haven't done a damn thing wrong, but I'm extremely nervous when I get pulled up. I am extremely nervous. Extremely nervous. And that's that difference. That's that difference, because we know how quickly these things can get out of hand and escalate so quickly. Because if it's not no sir, yes sir, no sir, yes sir, it gets out of hand real quickly. Because I could have easily, in many cases, said, that's none of your damn business. It doesn't matter where the hell I'm going. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter what time I'm out. It's none of your damn business. But you know what? I wanted to get home that night. I wanted to get to where I was going that night. So I acted accordingly. You don't know, I would venture to guess most of you don't know that feeling. You don't know that feeling. You don't know what it's like to be asked, why are you in this neighborhood? You have no idea what that's like. You have zero idea what that's like. You have no clue what that's like. It exists. White privilege. It exists. It is there. It's out there. And that's why that lady felt so comfortable about calling that cop on that guy, because she knew that no matter what, more than likely, without even hearing from the guy, the cops would just take her side. That's white privilege. When you're doing something wrong, but you know, if you got this African American right here, you can say he did this X, Y, and Z, and despite what you're doing, the police will get there and just assume that you're doing the right thing, that the African American is not. That's white privilege. That's white privilege. White privilege. I went to a club. I gotta pull my pants up all the way to my belly button just to get in. Meanwhile, Caucasian comes in, cut off sleeves, holes in his jeans, walk right in the door. Racial profiling. There it is. It's there. You want to call in 864-378-0163. I've kind of touched a lot of different things. I went all over the place. Um, you know, I'm just angry, man. I'm just upset. I'm just I'm so upset. I'm so disappointed in just how little progress we've made in this country. I'm just so disappointed. I'm thoroughly disappointed at how we've come. Because you know what makes it worse is like when you see these things happen. When you see a George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery get killed. What makes it worse is when you see people trying to justify. When you see people making excuses for the cops, digging up dirt on people just to try to make you feel better about what just happened. Sickens me. It sickens me. Makes me sick. Utterly, utterly sick. This does, man. Man, with with that, man, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching, man. Next time we may be a little bit lighter. We, like I said, I want this to be a variety show. I want this to be about a lot of different things. It ain't always gotta be this intense and this serious. But today, it needed to be this intense. It needed to be this serious because this is a very, very serious topic. This cannot continue. I need prominent white men and women to stand up as human as the human race, have human decency, and say enough is enough. You gotta go out and say enough is enough, because we've been saying enough is enough. We've been saying Black Lives Matters, and let me clear that up for people. Let me clear that up for people, because people like to use that when you say Black Lives Matter. They go, "Oh, all lives matter." That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying at all. We're not saying that. We're saying when someone murders us in cold blood on live TV, that the son of a bitch be charged. That the son of a bitch be convicted. Not sent on a damn vacation, paid leave, and then ultimately return to their job. That's what we're saying. I got another phone call. Yo, caller, you there?
Yeah, this Matthew from Georgia.
Oh, Matthew from Georgia. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's going on? I just had a few things I want to speak on. I know you was about to end the show. I had a few things I just wanted to speak on.
Go ahead, man. Take your time.
Yeah, okay. Well, I heard you say, like earlier, waiting for the people, the white people of prominence, to make a decision, and to actually act on, making a change. I don't think that's gonna happen, because it's not like this whole thing has just happened. Like, everybody just noticed that, hey, it's racism going on, and I just think that's not gonna happen. I don't see it happening because they don't want to lose their power. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about that.
I mean, it's kind of like what Buck said. We're not fighting. Racism is going to be here, but we're fighting for justice. So there is definitely a difference, because racism ain't going nowhere. That's all over the world. There's some type of racism, because you're never going to ever eliminate all racism or all racist people. We're fighting for justice. When someone's getting murdered in the middle of the street, that should not be a waiting period to see what happens. That should not be a thorough investigation to know what happened. We saw what happened.
And that's what I'm saying. If you have to be like living under a rock if you don't know that racism exists everywhere, but especially in the United States against people of color. So if you're not privy to the fact that, hey, racism exists, then you're a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing anything, if you haven't done anything yet, you know what I mean, you're not going to do anything. If you have the power to do something and have not done it, I don't really think it's going to get done. You know what I mean? Because I don't see like it's like I said, this didn't come up like 5 minutes ago. Like, oh, okay, let's deal with this racism problem. And with the whole police thing, like, let's be real, the police started from, slavery, from them catching slaves and policing niggas, trying to get them back to the plantation so they wouldn't escape. So the whole negative view on police, most of it is warranted because you do, like I said, you do have some good cops out there. But like you said earlier, you do have a small pool of people that enlist into the police academy to be a police officer. And those small pool of people are either not from your neighborhood or just don't know anything about our culture and view us as weapons. Like they really like weaponize us. And it's crazy because I have sons. I have to have a talk with my sons and tell them how to act when they get pulled over by a police officer just to make it home when their white counterparts do not have to do the same thing.
It's a scary thing, and I know you having those difficult conversations. They even have to have those conversations because as kids we grow up, we think of police officers as superheroes. We think of them as the good guys. So
Right.
you have to tell your son, well, Daddy, I don't understand. Why would a cop want to treat me like that? Why would I have to act like that? That guy, he's there to help me. That's difficult, right?
And it's painful, and like with the Almar Arbery case, like my son lives in Brunswick, you know what I mean? Like that could have been my son.
Absolutely.
Just jogging, you know what I mean? And the fact that 3 prosecutors passed on it, and like, well, we don't find any just cause for this. It's a problem. It's a problem. And with this whole voting thing, like, yeah, I do believe in voting locally, but then you have to have a person because anybody can lie to you and tell you, hey, I'm going to do this for this community. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then as soon as they get in office, and you got the higher ups and the big pharma and the tobacco and the NRA feeding them, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million. You vote this way. I mean, listen, like, it's going to happen.
I mean, it's not a look, man. You make some great points. You got any points? Because I won't let you go. But you make some great points there. I mean, we know that the system is kind of jacked. We know the system is jacked up. It's run by what? Greed, money.
Yeah.
Money makes people move off of different things. You could actually be a great guy. You could actually be for the right thing, but the right price, you can be moved.
Or the right threat.
Or the right threat, you can be moved. But I think it's power in numbers. But those numbers have to those people have to look different than us, because at the end of the day, we're 12.6% of the population. That is not a lot.
It's not. But I'm gonna end on this though. I think that our buying power. You know that we're the only race that spends more than we make. Our black dollar stays in our own neighborhood for a total of 6 hours. Why do you think all these commercials and ads and stuff like that are tailored towards us? Because they know that, hey, we spend the most money, so, hey, it's only right as a business sense to target us. If we focus our own money into our own community, we could build ourselves up and don't have to depend on anywhere else to make any changes. We could do it ourselves.
Man, I agree with that. You make some very valid points about that, and we are a big time consumer. We are a big time consumer. We like to spend our money, and people are targeting us to spend our money. I'm just not. Look, I'm just not the guy for let's separate and let's do our own thing. I'm just not that guy. I can hear it, I can listen to it, but I just don't never want that to be the way to go.
I'm just saying it hasn't worked thus far. So I mean that's the true definition of insanity. Doing something the same way, expecting a different result.
You know I don't use that against me, because that's what I use all the time. Don't you use that against me? Don't you put that evil on me? Thanks for the call, bro.
Right,
appreciate it, man.
I appreciate calling. All right.
Yeah, man. Look, man. Look, man. Yeah. We could. I think we make a small. It's a big dent. I guess we can make a big dent. With that, but is that gonna actually change racism? So that's the thing. Just because we stop shopping at the stores or stop buying their products, is that gonna end racism? Is that gonna stop racism? Is that gonna stop you from going out and getting pulled over? Anything that may make it worse. You got your own. No, now y'all got your own little thing. So soon you cross over into our territory because you gotta leave. So. That I don't think that is necessarily the solution. That's not the solution to the issue we're speaking of. That's not going to stop police brutality. That's not gonna stop racial profiling. That's the issue we're talking about right here. We're talking about that. That has to involve white people. No, that has to involve them. It has to. You can't hide from that. So I don't think that's the solution to that problem. Now, you want to help grow black businesses, then yes, do that. But that's not going to stop racism. That's not going to stop police brutality. That's not going to stop social inequalities. That's not the answer for that. Man, I need to get out of here. I don't even have an ending for this. I don't even have an ending. I don't even have an ending for this show. I just play the intro again. I don't have an ending for this show. I messed that up, man. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. On this very first edition of the Unapologetic podcast, man. We have talked a lot. We have discussed a lot. I wish I seen a lot of my Caucasian friends on here. I would have liked them to speak up, and I want them to call in because like your voices will be heard here. I want you to understand it. I need to hear from you too because I think your voices are just as important, equally as important as our voices in these situations. I want to hear from you guys as well. And again, next time I come on and do this show, you're more than welcome to get in here too, because I want to hear from you as well. Don't think that, you know, how that go. I know it's a little uncomfortable in this setting because I am speaking from a black person's perspective, but I also feel like I'm so open-minded that I can see through all of that bullshit. And another thing, I'm glad I brought that up. I think we need to get rid of the term and the phrases of "I don't see color." I think we need to get rid of that. I think we've been going about this the wrong way. I think philosophically we've been going about this the wrong way. No, you should indeed see color. You should indeed see color. That way, you may be better able to empathize and sympathize with the person that you're looking at, and understand what he or she may go through. Because if you say I don't see color, then more than likely you're seeing that person through your own eyes, and you're thinking of them through your prism. So you can't understand their plight because you can only see it from your perspective. Maybe you should open your eyes. Maybe you should see people. See their color. So maybe we've been going about this the wrong way when people say, I don't see color. Maybe we should start seeing color. That way, maybe we can sympathize and empathize with each other and have a better understanding of each other if we do it that way. So, I'm going to get out of here. I don't have a damn ending for this show. So I'm just going to play the intro again and get out of here. This has been the Unapologetic podcast. I have been your host, Wesley Santerre. I will see you guys next time. I have no idea when we'll do another one of these, but man, it's going to be intense like this all the time. It's going to be about what's going on in the world right now. It may get heated, but we're going to keep it 100, and there will be no lies told on this podcast. It'll be all truth. We would not deal in lies. But appreciate everyone watching again. I will see you next time. I am out.